Who fit the curses in Deuteronomy 28? Proof, excuse me, proof. Who fit the curses in Deuteronomy 28? You have to look no further. And I want y'all to know it ain't about skin color. It's about what your spirit bear witness to. hmm Me, myself, if I know a person, if I know a person have hatred in their spirit, I don't like people that, especially when I start talking about the other race of people, I don't like, I hate the enemy just as much as they hate me. I hate the enemy. Why would you love an enemy? I care less about you, me. I don't give a damn what happened to you. If you my enemy, why would I love an enemy? Yeah. Why would I love an enemy? It's just like loving a fucking a damn snake. Why would I love an enemy? I don't associate nowhere near my enemy. Not an enemy. No, why would I love an enemy? I have no love for Caucasian. Why? You don't give a fuck about our community. So why should I give a damn? Why would I? And then when you talk about the so-called white man, then they want to say you hating. They got their nerve is to say that you fucking hate. No. Chair, seat, head, rest, month. Oh, I don't know what the hell this is. Oh, that must be something to hold a tablet on or something. Yeah, that's what it is. But for me, I can tell a person myself, since I'm on my channel that I talk about this bullshit that our people deal with. You can almost look and tell when you are dealing with a racist, no, a person who really hate, because you have to think about it. The Israelites, our people are really being hated because you know what? I was sitting up and I be thinking all the time. I say, man, you know what? Damn, my father, he can't be no so-called white man. Is he? No, is he not? And then I'm thinking, and when I look at Deuteronomy 28 and 46, it says, and these curses will be upon you for a sign and a wonder. And then I have to catch myself and be like, when I go out in public, think about it like this here. When I go out in public, when I go straight out in public and somebody just look, have you ever just been walking and you just eye somebody and they just, a group of them just look at you like, they look at you, they give that vibe like, I hate you. Yeah, I experienced that. So when I think about that, my mind goes back to uh, Deuteronomy 28. That's what my mind go back to. My mind go back to Deuteronomy 28. I said, okay, hopefully, I said, he can't be a so-called white man. I don't think so. And then every time I come in contact with, like in real reality, when I walk out here in this real world and people eye you a certain way or something like that, from what I see, based upon according to Bible prophecy, like, okay, that's what gives me a sense to let me know that it's a possibility that I probably could. I don't walk around calling myself, I don't like calling myself a name, a Israelite name. I don't like doing, I really don't like doing that. I just try to stay right in the middle and just, it's called humble yourself and learn. You see what I'm saying? But when I look at the conditions that certain people up under, because he said these certain things is going to follow them as a sign to let them know who you are in the last days. So when I think about that, and then I'm looking at skin, I said, no, it can't be your skin color. It can't be how much hair you got on your face or something like that. It can't be none of that of how much hair you have on your face, or because European people, they have more hair. You know what I'm saying? So if you got to, let's say, like the Bible doesn't deal with mixed. It's you are what your father is. So when I look at all those things, when you think on those things confuses you. So when you look at the Bible give it to you simple. It says, "My sheep." When I hear things like "my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, they follow me," and then every time I like come into a confrontation, because it's very easy to come into a confrontation with somebody. It is. You can be walking or whatever. You can be in the store. You can be just minding your own business, and a lot of times you ain't doing nothing. You ain't got to do nothing. You look at somebody, they gonna eye you a certain way. They gonna give you a vibe that you know that they hate you. Like it's like they saying, "Nigga, I hate you." They don't care nothing about mix this and that. In their mind, they're like, "Nigga, I hate you." That's how they see it. And you like, "Well, what you hate me for?" Then when you go back to Deuteronomy 28 and you read Deuteronomy 28, and Deuteronomy 28 is telling you about the curses. It said these curses, Deuteronomy 28, and it says, "Curses should not be in the city." And then it goes on in verses 46. These curses will be upon you for a sign and a wonder. And every time I think about that, and every time I encounter something, I say, well, maybe the Bible must be talking about me then. That I have no other choice but to say it's a possibility. And then when I look at my family members who have suffered wrongfully, went to jail and went to prison for shit they didn't do, and I'm adding all. It's like you gathering evidence, and it's like it's like a reminder. This is how you can tell who the Israelites are, because he said the way you're gonna be able to identify an Israelite, you're gonna be able to identify. He said curses gonna follow them. He said those group of people, he it's like an audience. He addressing you as he talking to a certain audience. Now, this is not speaking to everybody. It's only speaking to those, because he said in Romans 8:16, the spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. That's what it says. You see what I'm saying? That's what it says. So when I look at simple things like that, I say, maybe I'm getting a sense of knowing who a possibility who I am, because he in the Bible it tells you that the signs and the wonders gonna let you know. You know what I'm saying? And it's like what you're doing. You're looking at simple things as such as you separate from your family. You're separated from your family. You have a desire is to get yourself out of a predicament. You want to get out. It ain't like I woke up one day and say, you know what? I want to wake up in poverty and be poor. I want to be oppressed by the so-called Europeans and this and that and the third. I didn't wake up and just say, hey, you know what? I want to be poor. I want to walk around in the store and, so-called Europeans are being hated. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't want to walk around. I didn't wake up one day and say, I want my own people to hate me. I want to feel separated from people. No. But when I think about simplest things like that, because then the enemy, he tried to attack you, put doubt in your mind, and and be separated. Do you think I want to go through that? No. Do you think I want to be separated from my family members? Do you think I want to be separated like that? Hell no, I don't want to be separated from my family members. But that's how the enemy do, man. He do things like that. Yeah. Yeah, he got us hating each other. Yeah. Yeah. He got it fixed where we totally hate each other and everything. Yeah. It's like when you even walk around, your people, it's like you don't even feel no good vibe. It's like you feel, to me, it's like I feel like a disconnect. You feel what I'm saying? It's like you feel a disconnect. It's like in your mind, you don't want to feel like that. You don't want to feel like you don't value your people. But and then you dealing with looking down on yourself. You dealing with low self-esteem with yourself. You see what I'm saying? In my own way and things of that nature. So when I look at simple things like that, it kind of gives me a sense to let me know that there is a possibility. You know what I mean? That hey, you could fit these characteristics in Deuteronomy. Because one thing about it, if you are an Israelite, if you really truly that, you gonna find out life gonna let you know, partner. The simplest thing gonna let you know. You can be walking like I'm walking now. You can be like you come encounter with somebody like I'm doing right now, and you look, and they may look a certain way and give a certain vibe, let you know I hate you. Yeah, and that's how I feel. We not really connected to each other like that. No, we not connected. See, especially in this day and age, you looking at people to where when you look at people, certain people around you and stuff, it's like you can't even speak to your own people no more. You can't. And so when I see things like that, that lets me know the Bible tell you who fit. If you, if those signs and those one and those curses follow you like that, then more than likely they say you're Israelite according to the Bible. Yeah, you know, if you pass by your people and you can't even speak, you can't even say hello, you can't do none of that type of stuff, then you know what time you living in. Yeah, you know exactly what time you living in. Yeah, because they gonna look at you funny, they gonna look at you crazy. You can't you pass by one of your people and say, "Hey, what's up?" and see what's going on. They gonna look at you crazy. They gonna look at you with hatred. You can't even speak. And then our people dealing with the other nation, and the Most High tell us not to even marry the other nation. We don't give a damn. We date outside of our race. We just don't give a damn. We don't have no love at all for each other no more. We just don't. We don't have no love for each other. We don't give a damn about each other. You hear me? We living in that day and age. Mm-hmm. I'm right over here by where it's dark. You can't hardly see. But I'm over here by Target. I don't know how to pronounce that damn name back there. This is TJ Maxx right here. I think I waited too late to go into Best Buy. I think I did. Yeah. You come, maybe I come back out this way tomorrow. That's what I do. Yeah, man. Our people, man, they hate each other, you know. And I don't like white people, man. I don't be want. I be like, when they be looking at me and stuff, I be like, I don't want to speak to you, shit. That's how I feel. Like I don't want to speak to you, shit. Your people cause the most anger and pain. That's how I feel. Now I know a lot of my family gonna look at this video and probably gonna be like, they might look at me crazy, you know. But I don't care, man. I mean, think about it. Why would I love my fucking enemy? Why would you love somebody who have a spirit and a heart is to put you in a ghetto, put you in a slum, and give you lower resources, and do it on purpose? You call that love for your people? You call it they love you? Not all white people like. Okay, not all of them are not like that. That means nobody in the U.S. I mean, here in so-called Babylon, America, wouldn't be going through none of that. We can see our people coming like that. We can see our people coming like that, and we be able. We have a connection. We don't even feel no connection when we get around our own people. Yeah, we don't feel no connection like that. Hold on, let me turn You damn right I hate my enemies. I don't hate they hate you. It's like, and you could tell when you don't fit in. You can tell when you don't feel you feel it's like you can pretty much tell. I'll come back out tomorrow. I think I waited too late to go into Best Buy. Yeah. Yeah, man. They I turned it off in the car that I showed y'all had music. And YouTube be tripping, man, if you have certain type of music in your like around you and you don't and it's not on, it's in the video. I'm pretty sure YouTube is still copyrighting your video. You know, they can disable you and stuff like that from posting videos for a week, and then you do it again, that's 2 weeks, and then if you do it one more time, then they'll put a strike on your channel and stuff like that. And so that's why I be muting the mic and stuff like that. And YouTube, man, they got a lot going on with them, man. It's just crazy. It's just funny because they took several of your YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. YouTube has really been, I don't know, man. They, you know, YouTube over the years, like I feel like the ancient YouTube was better. I call it 2005. The ancient YouTube was better than the modern day, the new stuff that they done added. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Esau, they charge you too high. They so high and expensive when it comes to everything for us. Like I remember probably about a year ago, I think it must have been about a year, they had this man, this brother, he was a brother. I said, this was like during the time, I think before Dollar Tree went, well, everything was a dollar, like the taxes was like 2 cents, right? And they said they were gonna go up to like 125. So altogether, the tax is like 131 for one item, a dollar and like 31 cents. Like, damn, what? And I mentioned it to him. I said, what? He said, well, sometimes you just gotta, you know, you got to pay. You got to do what you got to do. And I told him this. I said, yeah, that only apply to me and you. And he understood what I meant, and that shut his ass up too. I said, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but guess what? That only apply to you and me. I told him up front. It don't affect the other nation. It only affects you and me. It's a curse for you and me, but for them, it's not going to be a curse. How is it going to be a curse for them? They control it, and they make the money, and they set the prices. They set everything. They control all of that. Esau, the white man, control all of that. You see what I'm saying? And even if you are rich, and which we have a lot of people, so-called black people, they maybe collectively, but that's not as a nation ruling and controlling stuff. You still, as a rich person, some of them are still got to go to the white man to get their material. They still got to go to him. It's not saying that you think because you real rich, you can afford any damn thing in the world. That's gonna somehow give you a pass from them recognizing that you still hated by society. Who told you that lie? You still gonna suffer the curses. You may not suffer resources, lower neglect of resources, but you're gonna get the curses in other ways. It's different ways you're gonna get it. Don't think somehow Bill Cosby is a perfect example. No matter how high he was up there, that white man brought him down, and put him in a goddamn prison system. So you think just, oh, I'm rich and wealthy now, the white man can't. Man, as long as you living in this so-called white man's world, they gonna always come at you a certain way. That's not going to stop them from not hating on you. But our people think they love them. Our people actually convince themselves in their mind that they really love them. I don't see how you can think like that. The white boy, man, they ain't studying you. Studying you. Studying none of us. Okay, how rich you is. They look at you like, man, I ain't studying them niggas. Mm-hmm. They'll look at you, man, we ain't studying them down. Like, what? Man, we're rich. Man, we are, in their mind, that's what they was telling Bill Cosby. Man, we'll bring you down. That's what they saying. Y'all better, what? Can y'all need to wake up and taste the bread. Come on now. Wake up. Yeah. You think that ain't gonna stop them from hating on you? Keep living. That ain't gonna stop them from coming at you. They gonna hate you more. Have you ever heard our people say they hate to see hold on. Okay, I put it on mute that minute because there was a call with some music. But they'll let you know what, okay, you think your money, your riches, and your wealth, we'll find a way to take it from you. That's how they destroyed Michael Jackson. Them people didn't care. Them people been trying to destroy Michael Jackson ever since before the 80s. And then people be saying, well, I don't hate nobody. They hate you. They definitely hate you. Look, let me tell y'all something. When he say love your enemy, he's telling you it's to love the enemy of your own race, your own people. You got to study that in the context. Maybe I might have to go home and come back and do a video on here and explain and break some things down and give y'all the context and show y'all who the context is addressing when it talks about, because when you read the Bible, it's going to seem like, it's going to feel like it's contradicting itself. But once you really get it down and understand the context and everything, and somebody go and try to read this text, this scripture to you, then you're gonna understand. You're gonna know what it's talking about because you got the whole full picture, and they're not gonna be able to take Luke, the book of Luke, chapter 1, and go and try to go to Isaiah 85. I mean Isaiah 66, and try to tell you something totally different because you know how to take what they say and get the context to it. Whatever they say, you're going to know how to put it in context because you have to remember there are two different types of Gentiles in the Bible. Because people tell you, well, God came back to say, like you'll read something like this here in the Bible. It'll say, Paul went into the synagogue every Sabbath and persuaded the Jews and the Greeks, right? Persuaded the Jews and the Greeks. And then it says, and when the Jews were going out of the synagogue, the Gentiles besought that these words might be preached to them the next Sabbath. If you do research on that, if you don't read the verses before and after or whatever, before you read that, then you're going to think in your mind, okay, well, you know what? We should love the heathens. We should love the heathen nation. But when you read the context, you're going to discover that in the context where it talks about Gentile right there, and you go and study the context, you're going to discover that it's talking about the Israelites who was in a Gentile state of mind. You're gonna have to go to scriptures like Romans 1, and you're gonna have to go to scriptures like Isaiah chapter 13 and verse I think it's 12, 11 and 12, and it's gonna give you, that would be the context of who it was talking about. It was talking about the Gentiles who were lost, and they went off and they started, the Israelites who was in a Gentile state of mind started worshiping the other idols, went into idolatry, went into start dealing with the other nations. And because they was dealing with the other nations, they went into a what is called a Gentile state of mind. That's what we're talking about here. But see, that's why I say you got to be able to read the context and read all of the 48 context, the scriptures in that one context, and then go to the other 7 contexts and then read the other context and see who it's addressing when it talks about Gentiles here. If it's talking about Gentiles going off in which are Israelites going off into adultery, then you got to go to Isaiah chapter 13 and discover and see if Paul is saying the same thing Isaiah is saying about the nations that went off into adultery. And you're going to discover when you get there, it's going to break down and show you who the Gentiles were that Paul was talking about. The Apostle Paul was talking about in Acts chapter 13, verses 42, 43, and 44. You're going to discover that it's talking about those Gentiles that which were Israelites in the Old Testament who was under in that went underwent captivity and all of that. Even in Ezra's chapter 2, Ezra's chapter 1, Ezra's chapter 2, it's going to tell you about all of the nations that went into captivity under the hands of Nebuchadnezzar, which means that uh, the Nebuchadnezzar it's addressing the heathen king, which is Nebuchadnezzar, and then it's telling you the nations that of the people. They mention their names by Pahab, Moab, and then it's gonna get to the end. It's gonna mention First Ezra chapter 2 and 59, and they're mentioned Tamila, Taharsa, Kirab, Adam, and Emma, but they could not show their father's house or their seed whether they was of Israel. You know, the children of Kadiah, the children of Nekoda, 652, like 52, 652. It's telling you all of the Israelites that went into captivity under the hands of Nebuchadnezzar. And it's telling you, if you go back and you read Acts 13, 42, 43, and 44, you're going to discover that Isaiah is in agreement with Paul about who the Gentiles, who in that context it was addressing. When it was speaking of Gentiles, it was actually, you go back into Isaiah 13 and verse 11 and 12, where it's talking about Ephraim will be, and Judah should not vex Ephraim, and Ephraim should not vex Judah. And you'll see that in that context, it was addressing when it says, and these words might be preached to them the next Sabbath. When the Jews were going out of the synagogue, the Gentiles besought that these words might be preached to them the next Sabbath. You discovered that the Gentiles were the northern kingdom, which was Ephraim, who went off into idolatrous worship. Now, if you don't take time to at least, and I can give you a better breakdown when we get to the house, if you don't take time to address those contexts of who it's actually talking about, then you're going to think that the Apostle Paul is talking about the Gentile heathens who put the Israelites into captivity. And you're going to discover that one was in a Gentile state of mind, which are Israelites. The Israelites went off into adultery and went into a Gentile state of mind, and they started committing fornication and taking strange wives. You'll find that in the book of Ezra, chapter 4, where it says they went into the other lands and they started taking wives, and they have it says these people have not separated themselves from the people of those lands. And that's what the Israelites men was doing. They was going and they was taking them heathen wives and marrying them heathen wives. And when that's why I say when you hear that word Gentile, that's who Paul, the Apostle Paul, and the prophets was addressing the Gentiles who went into adultery, and then they took on the form of being called, like the Apostle Paul. He was called a Roman. He was called a Roman born in Tarsus, but he was not an original Roman. He was just a Roman citizen. There's a difference in between him being a Roman citizen and a Roman by blood. It's two different things. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I think. That's what's throwing a lot of the people off in the Christian churches, and this is what the Christianity churches is not breaking down to the people. You see what I'm saying? This is what Christianity is not telling the people. They're not really explaining the Bible in that way, and this is the reason why you have so many people in the Christian church that is so confused about these different things. Just like if you read something in let's say in the New Testament, right? If you go to Matthew's chapter 5 in verse, I think it's 40, 43, 44. It says, but I say unto you, have heard that it was said by them of old time, love thy neighbor and hate thy enemy, right? All right. It says, when you get that right, love thy neighbor and hate thy enemy. And the Bible says, I say unto you, love your enemy, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them that despitefully use you, right? And persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father, right? Now, when it says you may be the children of your Father, why would it say be children? Now, when it say love your enemies, it's not talking about the heathens. It's not talking about the Gentiles who were Gentiles by blood. It's actually talking about the Israelites loving their own people if you read that in the context. That's what it's actually talking about. And I'm going to prove that to y'all. You go to Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 12. The Bible says, and if thy Hebrew brother, Hebrew man, or Hebrew woman be sold unto thee, thou shalt love. It tells you, if thy brother in Hebrew man or Hebrew woman. And then if you go into Jeremiah chapter 34, and I think it's verse 30 or 20, 34, 28, somewhere around, I can't remember. It says that thy Jew and brother love thy brother a Jew. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna read it in the context, and I'm gonna show y'all exactly when Matt. Hold on, wait a minute. I hope we don't have no more music. I had to turn it off because of music, because YouTube, like I said, y'all get it. But anyway, I will have to go home. Like, you go and you read in Matthew's chapter 5 and verses 43, 44. It says, I say unto you, you have heard that it was said by them of old time, love your enemies and this and that and the third. Now you have to go and once you do that, you got to go and you got to read the context. And we're gonna read that in 1 Corinthians. Hold on. I don't know if anybody can hear that. Hopefully nobody can hear it. But anyway, and I'm gonna read in 2 Corinthians 11 and verses, I think it's 21, 22. I think it's 22. 2 Corinthians 11 and 22, where it says, the Apostle Paul said, am I in Hebrew? So am I. If are they Hebrews? So am I. You see what I'm saying? And I'm gonna now that's what Matthew was, a Levite, which was a witness addressing what Paul, Levi, Matthew, and Paul was in agreement who the Israelites were. The Israelites was in a Gentile mind state. That's what it was actually talking about. So I'm gonna see y'all later. I'm gonna get home and we're gonna talk a little bit more on this end. All right. If y'all have any questions, y'all let me know.